Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Fire Force chapter 294. When we last left our heroes, we were treated to an extended flashback of Shinra, Sho, and Mari before everything went to shit. On the day of like a solar eclipse, we learned a little bit about how this culture deals with solar eclipses. That's sort of seen as kind of a bad omen of the sun god leaving for a little while. And I don't quite know what we're really supposed to take from that. Like, there's some cute sort of family moments reestablishing the connection of the Kusakabe family, but beyond that, it's kind of just there. I don't know. Like, maybe the solar eclipse thing will come back somehow. Either way, the important thing is we come back to the present. Shinra and Sho are still shocked to see their mom, and then Haumea drops one of the biggest, jaw droppers in a while, which is really saying something. That Mari is the evangelist's doppelganger. So with that, let's jump right on into chapter 294, Despair versus Hope. Our picture here is just the word hope with like a face on top of it, pressing onwards with feelings as warm as a hug. We have our scan later page, our go by the manga page, and we open not really with the brothers reacting to what Haumea said, as Shinra just says, "Mom." And Mari speaks, "Shinra, Sho, a family reunited at last. The words exchanged are..." And Shinra looks at her with this sad look in his eyes. Sho looks back at him, "Brother?" And Mari asks, "What's the matter, Shinra?" And he apologizes. "Sorry, Mom. Back then, I failed to keep our promise. 12 years ago, when that fire broke out. I failed to protect you both." And Mari asks him, for a second there, I thought that maybe the point here would be like Mari is too far gone at last. Shinra like sees that or something. But she still has that sort of warm maternal vibe. But, "Did you give up?" And Shinra shakes his head and smiles. "I never gave up, Mom. I was about ready to give up, but if I ever did, he would scold me again." And Mari, I guess, has no idea who Arthur is. Just asks, "He?" And Shinra looks himself over. "I sure grew up, didn't I? I made a bunch of friends, too. And I'd like for you to meet every single one of them. From my cool superiors and seniors, and my boisterous and dependable peers, to the classy nationalist folk who are always training me. I made a lot of friends." And Mari sort of responds, "Is that so? I went to Asakusa and was influenced by the way they talked." And Sho looks over at Shinra and smiles. "And about him, well, you haven't met him yet, but..." And we cut to Arthur, just sort of floating in space. "Well, he is my friend." And Mari goes on, "So you made some friends?" "Yeah. And you have to stand shoulder to shoulder with your friends, right? That guy never gives up. So I won't either. Even if they're all gone, I still want you to meet those people." Which, I'm glad he's hopeful that he can save everyone, given that hope is the whole theme here. I'm curious how he plans to go about doing that. Okay. So, the infernal Mari opens her infernal teeth, revealing her human face underneath this, like, infernal mask. As she says, "You can do it, Shinra." And Shinra turns back, "Yeah." And he goes to stare down Haumea. None of them are responding to what Haumea said. I don't think any of them heard about Mari being the evangelist doppelganger. Which also, last chapter I talked about that in terms of sort of the Jesus imagery. Mari is a Mary figure. In Catholicism, you have, the specialness of Mary's birth, so she could be born without sin. I didn't really look at what that means for what exactly the evangelist is. Because I had figured the evangelist was a being from Adola. Right? That was where she started. Do people from Adola have... people from Adola are doppelgangers. I don't know. The whole, what does it mean that Mari is the evangelist doppelganger is just confusing, and I don't know what the answer is. But anyway, the Kusakabes all stare down Haumea, ready for the final battle to begin anew. And Haumea responds to Shinra's declaration. "So you're still not giving up. Hope is the curse that torments us. yet you people still cling on to it. It's because of that thought that you are devils. And Shinra snaps, my mom isn't a devil. Mari Kusakabe is the evangelist's doppelganger. So now she is just sort of straight up making sure Shinra knows that. The evangelist is the symbol of despair and the salvation of mankind. Your mother is the only stain of hope left in the midst of that despair. But then, hold on. So why is... Because doppelgangers are what the public perception of a person is. So why is Mari hope? Unless, in a paradoxical kind of way, the Whiteclads, being the only ones who really knew about the evangelist, they saw, despite all of their striving for despair, they saw hope in that despair. And therefore, paradoxically, the evangelist became a symbol of hope to the Whiteclads, thereby giving birth to a doppelganger, Mari, who is a symbol of hope. Again, not quite sure how that works if the evangelist is from Adola originally, but that's the best I've got to work all this out. Anyway, your mother is the only stain of hope left in the midst of that despair. And Shinra reacts, that's so? I guess that must be why I feel so hopeful right now. He's not really reacting to the fact that he's the son of the evangelist doppelganger, but okay. And Shinra, oh no, Haumea sends out those, I think that Sumire's abilities, those waves of heat again. Blasting Shinra and Sho back. Sho calls, Mom, stand back! And Shinra retorts, just a breeze! And zooms towards Haumea. Blast enough gusts and you might just knock me down one day. And Haumea taunts in return, small gusts are not all I can create. And then another barrier appears between Shinra and Haumea. Shinra notes it. What? Is that Iris' divine protection? And Haumea tells him, it's impossible to create dust a breeze with this. All possibilities are gone. Amaterasu is with me, and her light of madness. And this light sort of shines from atop the evangelist. Almost has the vibe of an explosion. Shinra and Sho are blasted back. And yeah, it's a real big explosion. There's not a good sense of scale in Adola, given that all we can really see is flames. But that sure does look pretty fucking big. But we see Sho's angel feather ability, and he's gotten Mari out of there. Shinra's also out of there. As another explosion, this time like a mushroom cloud, rocks Adola. And as the smoke clears, Haumea taunts again. All you brothers can do is stop time. And time leaves you with eternity of despair. And Shinra thinks Inka's prediction. Sister's divine blessing. There's no way to fight it. Is there anything I can do? What can I do? There's nothing else I can do. Is Arthur about to bop some more sense into him? Except maybe. And he looks back at Sho and says, I've tried everything that I can do. And Sho tells him, concerned again, are you giving up? And Shinra looks back, no, I'm not, Sho. The holy saint wasn't lying. It's true the only thing that got me this far was the flames of revenge. But it wasn't about revenge. I just wanted to keep my promise to you and Mom, Sho, because I cared about you two. I've only come this far because of you both. He extends his hand to them. Sho, Mom, take my hand. Your hearts and your soul to become one. And we see, from the hole in Shinra's coat, where he was struck through several chapters ago, is a little puff of flame, very reminiscent of a Soul Eater soul, which, given that bit about your soul to become one, is important in some way. Not sure if it is the long-running kind of crack theory of Fire Force is a Soul Eater prequel, or if it's just sort of signifying that it's the soul that's important here. Mari sort of stares silently, and Sho asks, what's wrong, Mom? And Mari looks at him. You used to be so small and cuddly, but now you're the one carrying me. You've both grown so much. And Shinra and Sho both smile, and Shinra tells them, it's a miracle to me that two people I thought were dead are still alive. And when a family is united. And he stares down Haumea again. Even miracles can happen. Hope against despair. A family's soul and heart stirs together to save the world. To be continued chapter 295, meeting. Okay, so, alright. Again, a little shocked at, my first note is I'm a little shocked at how little time we spend with this reveal that Mari is the evangelist doppelganger. Like, given that his last chapter was big cliffhanger, it seemed like it would be a big point here. But, like, Shinra never comments on that. He doesn't really care, I guess. And I mean, given that I don't think he would treat her differently because of that. He didn't really treat Iris differently upon realizing that she was Amaterasu's doppelganger. But it is interesting to note that Shinra is just so sort of blasé about that. The narrative doesn't really go into details as to why, or like what it means that Mari is the evangelist doppelganger. You know, we know that Mari has parents. And like Iris, I think, didn't have parents. So why did Iris not have parents and Mari somehow still did? It's all a little confusing there. But you know, we open with this sort of... It's very reminiscent of like... I'm thinking specifically of the scene in Naruto. I know there's a version of it when he meets Kushina inside his own mind with the Nine-Tailed Seal. And also his final scene with Minato as the Hokage go back to heaven. About like, you know, I turned out all right. You can be proud of me now. And Shinra has sort of the same thing with Mari here. It's all super cute. It's a lot of fun. And then, yeah, we get back to the fight as Shinra, as like, Haumea seems even more powerful, you know? Like, in the past, Shinra could, like, brush her hair at the very least. Now he's, like, 4 or 5 feet away from her and he stopped. And also, she sets off a nuke or something, using Amaterasu's Light of Madness is the term she uses. Again, madness, also a Soul Eater term. So maybe there is some sort of connection there. Who's to really say right now? But then he comes to the idea that, like, you know, everything he's done has been for Mari and Sho. That was his original purpose. And that, like, maybe his flames were fueled by revenge, but revenge wasn't really his goal. It was to keep that promise to Shoin and Mari. And that maybe the three of them together, as one soul, you know, when he knows when a family is united, even miracles can happen. Which, you know, maybe, I guess, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what that miracle would look like. I don't know. But it does look like we are gearing up for the end. Like, final end. The way this whole fight is set up, I don't think we're going to have a separate evangelist fight. I can kind of, like, all of this looks like the final battle. Not like deal with Haumea, then deal with the evangelist, but like at this point somehow Haumea and the evangelist have become one. Right? And so I don't know, maybe, like, a part of me is thinking maybe, like, we end with an even 300 chapters like Naruto did. And we're at the point where that could still almost happen, but we're kind of, it might be pushing it close to being exactly 300. But at this point, I don't think there's going to even be like 310 chapters. I think we're going to end up in the 3-0s as the final chapter. I don't think there's more than 10 to 15 chapters left. Because, yeah, this really is starting to feel like a finale. Like the end of Fire Force, what the whole story has been building to for the past 6+ years. And I'm excited to see it all play out. The Kusakabe is united at last to bring down the evangelist and save the world. It's good shit. It's just some real good shit here. And I can't wait to see it all play out. So yeah, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes it happy, you know? And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!